Alright, here we go. This is a casual game at local store between me on the right with the Mount Party mat. I'm playing a Rogue Mill and Graveyard Steel deck. And then on the left is Aaron. He's with the Arcane Research. He's playing a Warlord Rogue Aggro deck. So he's starting off first. He starts with a Crest of Rage, and a Spry Archer, and a Watchtower. Crest of Rage is, good, solid card. Spry Archer, it's a 2/1/4. Whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to opponent and to a character. And then Watchtower really hurts me because it deals 1 damage to all characters all your opponent's characters when they enter play. So on my turn, I played a Crest of Deception and a Heist Planner. Heist Planner is a 2/1/3. When it comes into play, I can search my opponent's deck for 3 cards and put them into the discard pile. As I said, Watchtower will kill it, but I'll at least get the search effect first. And so a lot of my cards in my deck, only have 1 left to the die. However, the deck does need to keep playing them to search because that's what it builds off of. I have to put things into the discard pile in order to later steal them out of the discard pile. Also, the other card I played, the Crest of so I'm making my I'm not making my choices. I'm making my choices now here, so I'm choosing a Dark Awakening, a Deadly Striker, and a Gideon. Dark Awakening just because it's a solid card, so I need to get those out of his deck as much as I can. The Crest of Deception, it's not quite as good as Crest of Rage, but it does do good work. This thing, because it'll kill off Spry Archers and some other things like that he plays. However, here he plays a Rage to start. Triggers his Crest of Rage, which will let him search his deck for a character and put it on top. My Crest of Deception, when I play a Deception or Treachery, it will allow me to make a character lose 1 life. So it will kill Spry Archers, but again, making something lose 1 life is not quite as good as being able to search your deck for any character and put it on top. So he definitely has the advantage, but and Crest. So, but that's okay. I mean, like I said, my Crest of Deception does kill some guys, so it's not all bad. Alright, so his turn, the first thing he does is attacking Spry Archer. When it attacks, I lose 1, and then I'll take 2 from it. And then he is paying 5, so he's playing a Titillating Contortionist. It's a 2/3/4. Whenever it attacks, he can pick a character, and it has to block it. So, start of my turn there, I played a Deception, which triggered the Crest of Deception, and I was able to make the Spry Archer lose a life and kill it. So it's a lot of... I take a little while on this turn because it's just trying to decide what best play is. Like, do I draw a card or do I just play something? So I go ahead and just decide to play Heist Training Grounds. It's a location, has 3 effects on it. The first one is I can make something covert at the start of my turn. All these are at the start of my turn. Second one is I can search my opponent's deck for a card and put it in the discard pile, which I will use a lot this game. Because he never destroys it, he just kind of leaves it there. So that's helpful. And then the last one, my opponent discards a card randomly from their hand. That only happens a few times near the end. So he attacks me, 2/3/4, take 2 more damage. I'll let you know that this game it gets close, but I do stabilize. So, start of my turn, I trigger my Heist Training Grounds, search his deck, make him, put something else. I believe I choose another Dark Awakening here. Typically, my order of cards is Dark Awakenings for sure, just because I want those out of the deck. I don't want my opponent to have access to those. Yep, so I did choose Dark Awakening, and then this game I went for things also like Deadly Striker and Spry Archer, things that just can do damage to me before I can deal with them. Because Deadly Striker is always scary. Once they hit the board, they're guaranteed to pretty much do 4 damage to you. I don't believe my Rogue Mill deck. I think it runs Dry Gulch. I don't remember. It might. But for my turn, I go ahead and I play a Pillaging Pirate. It's a 2/1/4. When it comes into play, I mill the top 2 cards of my opponent's deck, and I hit a Noble Sacrifice, I think, and a Spry Archer. Again, Spry Archer is very, very excellent. So that is a second Archer gone. You know, I want those gone, because like I said, it's just as soon as they turn sideways, I'm taking damage from them. So once the Gideon comes out, that's 5 damage from a character. Pretty bad. And then it's end my turn, I leave 3 open so I can draw cards. So yep, he just swings at me, I take 2 more. And he ends his turn, so I'll pay my 3 and I'll draw my card. He has all 6 of his open, so he's just going to draw cards at the end as well. I don't have anything to do, so, oh yeah. I almost forgot that. I go back. I almost paid 3 to draw. I'm like, wait, I need to do this start a turn trigger. Let me discard the cards. I need to get them out of the deck. So the cards I chose, for those who don't know, Dark Awakening. It's a 2-cost tactic. You pick a card in your discard pile, and you can play it like immediately. So you can play anything as a tactic, essentially. It's a really good card, you know, it just gives you extra recursion. So there's a 3rd Dark Awakening that I put in there. I do remember at this point, I didn't see a 4th Dark Awakening in the deck, so I knew that he already had one. So it's a little bit risky putting things like a Gideon and or a Deadly Striker, which I did with the first one, into the discard pile, because if they have a Dark Awakening, it just gives them easy access to get those cards out. Now, because he already had a Crest of Rage, it's not as big a deal, just because he can search his deck for any card and put it into play. But you see him here play his Dark Awakening that he had, pay 1 to play the Gideon. So, and he did this at the end of my turn, so that way on his turn, he can now attack with the Gideon. So that'll be an extra 3 damage coming at me. But that is all 4 of his all of his Dark Awakenings are out of his deck now, so I don't have to worry about him recurring anything else. You know, he attacks. So it's like, you know, again, casual games, so I'm like, hey, let me block with this here. And he's like, no. I'm like, alright, whatever. So I take 3 from the Contortionist, then I take 3 from the Gideon. And he leads off with a Menacing Mauler, or not leads off, but then he plays with Menacing Mauler here, which is a 5/4/3 character. When it attacks, it deals 1 damage to, well, I'm sorry, not when it attacks, but when it's blocked, it deals 1 damage to the blocking party. So it can be quite aggressive and annoying in that respect. Start of my turn, I go and just search his deck for another card here. And trying to see what it looks like. He was looking at a face down Noble Sacrifice there. Yeah, so I go and pick an Athalamond, which is a 3/3 character, and you can pay 1 and deplete it to pick a character, and then Athalamond will do 6 damage to that character, and that character will deal its strength and damage back to Athalamond. So he's a good guy because he can take out anything on the field. So the first thing Aaron does when he starts off is he actually attacks the location there, trying to get rid of it. So I stop milling his deck. I go and play a Peculate, picking Athalamond. And so once Athalamond comes into play, I'm going to use Athalamond to block the the Menacing Mauler. And he looks, remember he has that Noble Sacrifice, he chooses not to use it. So once damage has been assigned, I'm going to use Athalamond's ability, picking the Gideon, so that way Athalamond will kill the Gideon and, you know, die to the damage from Menacing Mauler. Which is fine, because it kept me from taking damage from the Mauler. And then after this, you know, should only take 2 damage from the Titillating Contortionist. So that's good. Yeah, he was going to attack and then he stopped because he plays another Gideon from his hand. So it wasn't that big of a play because he had a replacement, but you know, it was the best play I had, so I take 3 more damage, or my faction loses 3 more influence. It's fine. So start turn, I still keep playing resources because that's what you do. You just keep building. So I think I ping Gideon for the 1 point from the Crest of Deception, even though it's not going to matter. And then I just search for a card. I threw it pretty much off camera, so I'm not sure what I picked. But as I said, since all 4 of the Dark Awakenings were gone, I was probably choosing things like Deadly Strikers, because those are 4/2/3s, and when they're destroyed, you lose 4 influence. So I don't want to deal with those, because as soon as they hit the table, they're guaranteed at least 4 damage. So I do play an Adroit Marauder, though. It is a 2/2/3. If your opponent has 10 cards in the discard pile, then it gains 3 strength, 3 life, so it is actually a 5/5/3. So it will trade with the Menacing Mauler, who's a 5/4. Which, I mean, that is the biggest threat out there right now, is trying to deal with that. Sorry for the camera shifting. Somebody was trying to adjust it because they were saying that they couldn't see everything, so they were just trying to adjust it a little bit to try to get the whole board and try to get rid of the glare. As you can see on that Crest of Deception in the bottom half of the screen, it's really hard to see because the glare, because it's a foil card. So his turn, he draws for turn. He chooses to... sorry for the hand waving too, you know, just talking about... This is the first... I actually just got the camera, so this is actually the first time that I had recorded anything. I recorded this about a month ago, so I don't remember everything exactly. So yeah, so it's just us playing with a little bit, you know, just trying to figure it out. This is a good game, so I figured I'd talk about it. Okay, so we played Noble Sacrifice, destroying his Contortionist, then destroying my my Marauder there. Alright, so he attacks with his 5/4. I flip up a banana peel and I flip his 5/4 face down, and then Gideon's gonna get in for 3, which puts me, I forget exactly, but at this point I remember I was getting really low. I think I was less than like 10 life. I just remember I was getting really low at this point. So, I mean, I don't really have anything, so I'm going to draw... I don't have any answers, I'm just going to draw a card for turn. So, yep, trigger that. I'm going to search. Discard something else. Again, it's so fast that you couldn't see. I just kind of threw it off camera there and into his discard pile, so I'm not sure what I chose. And at this point, this is where, yeah, I'm just paying 3 to draw, looking for answers. So I draw a Treachery, so I pay 4 to play a resource. Now when the Treachery comes in, I usually lose 1 life, but because of Gideon, everything you play loses 2. So I lose 2 influence for it. But I was able to trigger the Crest and kill the Spry Archer. And so for those newer, that was favorable to me losing 2 influence, because the Spry Archer, when he attacks, you know, he's a 2/1/4. So when he attacks, I would have lost, you know, 2 plus the 1 extra from Gideon, because Gideon increases all influence lost by 1. In addition, when Spry Archer attacks, he, you know, just for him attacking, your opponent immediately loses 1 influence, and with Gideon's that's 2. So Spry Archer would have done 5 damage to me, versus me just playing the Treachery and losing 2. So I saved myself 3 influence by playing that. And I did it on my turn, not a lot of times you want to do things like that on your opponent's turn, but again, with Spry Archer, the first thing he would have done is attack. By then it would have been too late, so I chose to do it on my turn, just so he couldn't attack me with it. So on his turn, he just attacked with Gideon. I took 3 more points. So I'm searching his deck yet again, start of turn. And I believe this is the point where I start to stabilize this turn. This is the point where I start to stabilize a little bit. And so then it becomes a game instead of just him turning cards sideways and beating me. That was a Deadly Striker I put into his discard pile there. Again, like I said, I especially now that I'm this low on life, after taking 3 more from Gideon last turn, I can't afford any more like big beats or anything, so I play an Aggro Marauder again, another 5/5, which can block the Gideon, so I don't have to worry about that. And he pays 3 to draw, and then I believe he draws a card per turn. Yeah, I'm trying to think what to come. Oh, the other cards he played out there, those are hidden snipers. They're 0/1/3 cards. You can deplete them to inflict 1 point of damage to a character. So his deck, it uses. Yes, he attacks with Gideon, and then I'm like, okay, I'll block with this. He's a 5/5, so they just bounce, nothing happens, nothing dies. He plays a Carnival. I want to say it's the Carnival Ringmaster. I think it is my Carnival King, Carnival something. I forget. It's a 1/1/3. You deplete it and pick a character, and then everything that can block that character has to block that character. So it's a really good combo with Gideon, because when Gideon attacks, any damage dealt to him while he's attacking is reduced to 0. So you use the Carnival, you pick Gideon, Gideon swings in, everything has to block it. Gideon won't die. I mean, he might kill something, but if he doesn't, it doesn't matter, because now all the blockers are depleted, so then all your other characters can just swing in and get the damage through. So he has a few good synergy cards in here. I play an Ipsigast, which is 3/3/4. I can remove a character from the game, which is useful versus Warlord with the Dark Awakening, because I can remove whatever they're picking, and then it mills 3 more cards and gives him covert. But for synergies in his deck, again, he has like Poison Blades, which he can put onto his hidden snipers. Just says that if the character deals damage, you destroy the character, or destroy the character it dealt damage to. So hidden snipers, basically you just deplete to kill anything. So here on his turn, he's using the Carnival to pick to pick his hidden sniper, and this would allow him to attack with a hidden sniper. My 2 blockers would have to block the sniper, which means that Gideon could swing through for free, and then I would die, because at this point in the game I'm at 1 influence left on my faction. I play Mistaken Identity, which says anytime an ability or attack, whatever, that has a pick a character in its cost, I can re-pick, and then the effect happens like you pick the character. So I made him, instead of picking the hidden sniper, I made him pick Gideon, because I don't remember if the Carnival is pick a character you control or just pick a character. If it was pick a character, then I misplayed that, and I should have picked one of my own characters, so that way I wouldn't have had to block with both. I could have just blocked with 5/5 instead of the 3/3. But for now, so I did pick the Gideon, since he wanted the Gideon to attack anyway. And so he did the 2 damage on the Gideon, or on the 3/3. So yeah, now he'll just use his hidden sniper to finish it off. And then I'll go ahead and pay 1, and I'll play Bug Bite on Gideon, which I believe I just drew off that card. What Bug Bite does is that it puts a token on the character, and then if tokens are equal to the numeric cost, destroy the character. And one of the nice things about Gideon is that he's really cheap. He only costs 1, so for a really good effect. So everybody plays him, but it also makes him very vulnerable to Bug Bite and even Muddle Bugs, because it's just you only need 1 token and the character is destroyed. So as you can see, I'm at 1 influence, and I've kind of stabilized here, because I have a 5/5 out. He has a 1/1. A 0/1, a 0/1. The 2 0/1s can deplete to do damage to me, or not damage to me, I'm sorry, damage to my characters. But again, I mean, a 5/5, they're not going to kill it. Then the other 1/1, that doesn't really help either. So right now he doesn't really have anything that's going to kill me right now. So I've stabilized for now. Now it's just continuing to build board position. So I pay 4 to play another Deception to take out one of his characters, make it lose a life. So now I go ahead and attack into Watchtower. The reason I chose to attack into Watchtower instead of attacking his influence is because he's still at 24. He's only lost 1 influence from playing the Violence. I'm at 1. At this point, I really need to regain board position better, and that watchtower kept me from playing any of my 1 life characters and keeping them on the board. So him going from 24 to 19 was less useful than me getting rid of something that kills my 1 life characters as soon as they come into play. He plays a Dragon Archer, which is a 3/5, and when Dragon Archer enters play, he picked my 5/5 character. It does 3 damage to the character, and then that character's strength is dealt back to the Dragon Archer. So it dealt 3 damage to my 5/5, and then my guy did 5 damage back to the Archer, which instantly killed the Archer. And then he uses 2 hidden snipers to do 2 more damage to my Aggro Marauder to kill it. So that leaves me with no characters, but it also leaves him with no characters. So at this point, I think I'm slightly favored now because I'm not dead yet. That's what I'm like. Yes, I'm not dead. I'm okay. So again, I just go through his deck looking for what's the best cards to take out, and I put it in off camera. I have to remember to try to keep it on camera before I play this deck again. So so that way I can see what it is. So now I'm looking at now I'm looking through his discard pile to see what happens. Yeah, because I go ahead and count up. I believe at this point somebody had mentioned it's like, wait, you forgot the other effect, and I didn't realize I had threshold for the last effect on there, which is my opponent discards a card at random. So I'm like, oh, you're right. And I actually think I had it last turn and I missed it. So I made him discard, and it was a beta card. I want to say it was another hidden sniper, so it wasn't that important. So yeah, so I'm looking through his discard because I have 1 card in my hand that's gonna. This is what turns the game around. I play Grand Theft All. It costs 10. Grand Theft All is you take 4 cards out of your opponent's discard and put them into play under your control. Now normally versus Warlord, this is very dangerous because it costs 10. The card's not played that often. Because they have a 1 cost Blazing Zero or a Tactician Vacation or something like that, I mean, it's really easy to stop. However, he had all of his resources attached, so he couldn't stop it. So I picked 2 Deadly Strikers, a Gideon and a Watchtower. Again, the Watchtower was more just for control, because I knew that he had, like, Spry Archers and stuff like that, and maybe some more hidden snipers. Things like that I didn't necessarily want to deal with. Oh, and Plunging Shrievers. So, yeah, so here he is when he's playing it. I'm reminding him that, Watchtower will instantly kill it. He's a magic player, so he was thinking, triggers, stuff, being able to respond, so he could kill it. And then, because Plunging Shriever, you can flip it face down by removing an item from the discard pile. So he was thinking he could save it. And I'm like, no, it's a trigger. All the triggers happen. You can't respond to any of them. So, so he let me, So again, it's a casual game. We're kind of going back and forth. He let me take and redo some things. So, he takes and redos, does some things. It's fine. So he decides to not destroy it. So again, Watchtower. I took Watchtower just because I knew he had some 1 life things that would be dangerous. So he uses Hidden Sniper to deal 1 point of damage to Gideon, and then he plays Essence of Deception, which Essence of Deception has one of its rules text is you can pick a character that was dealt damage this turn, and then you just destroy the character. So Hidden Sniper deals 1 point of damage, and then an Essence of Deception just kills it. So Hidden Snipers are nice in that regard because they can essentially take out anything. And then he just ends his turn. So my turn, I randomly discard something. I look through his deck for something to remove. He also, for his deck as well, he also, that combo works with a Watchtower. So if you play something big, like if I played my Aggro Marauder and it's 5/5, I play it, Watchtower would ping it for 1. He could then play Essence of Deception to kill it because it took a point of damage that turn. So I attack with a Deadly Striker. He says no blocks. So after no blocks, I play Catastrophic Betrayal, which allows me to look at my character's discard pile, choose the character, and put it into the attacking party. So I added another Deadly Striker. It's important to do this after they've declared that there are no blocks, because if you do it before they declare no blocks, then they could choose to block and then just jump block it and soak up all the damage. So he's going to take 8 from that. And again, since Deadly Strikers do 4 points of damage, to your opponent's faction when they are destroyed, I have another 12 damage on the board because I have 3 of those out there. So it's pretty deadly for him now because, like I said, I just hit him for 8, and I think that's the first damage I did to him since from that one violence. So that puts him at 24 minus 8, like 16, and then since I have essentially 12 on the board, his effective life total is around 4 or so. So it's pretty bad for him now at this point. Because rogues do have one of the kind of removal cards, and Dry Gulch. So Dry Gulch is really effective in getting rid of Deadly Strikers, because they will remove it from the game, not destroy it. But he only runs 2 Threshold, which in this case is enough to remove a Deadly Striker, but not enough for most times. So he doesn't actually run any in his deck, which makes sense. He plays another Menacing Mauler. It's a 5/4/3 guy. So I just draw a card for turn, and I pay 2 to flip up a Strangulate, which if a character has 4 life or less, destroy it. Which, again, the Menacing Mauler is only a 5/4, so this is at the end of his turn, so I'll go and kill it. And start a turn, I'll restore. And I'll go through and I'll draw a card for turn, and I'm going to look at his deck, and I make him discard something else. It looked like it was another Essence of Deception, because it did look rogue there, and it looked to have a lot of rules text. So I think, yeah, so this, then I just looked through his deck, and I'm not sure. I think I pulled out a Poison Blade, because the Poison Blade is a great combo with Hidden Sniper. Poison Blade just says that if the attached character would do damage, then you can destroy the character it dealt damage to. I forget the exact wording, something like that. So it just makes it like the Hidden Sniper is like 1 turn kill. Like you deplete it, you shoot something, and it dies. So he kills one of the Deadly Strikers, and it dies. So he loses 4 influence, and then I go ahead and just swing in with the other 2 Deadly Strikers, and he takes another 8. Now this is where I think I made a bit of a play mistake, because I just played a Shadowy Mugger, which is a 2/1/4 covert. I can search his deck for a character, put it in discard, or a card, and put it in the discard pile. So it looks like I took another Poison Blade. Now the reason this is a mistake is because at this point in time, all the characters in play belong to my opponent, and Warlord runs a card called Noble Sacrifice, which he played earlier. Noble Sacrifice, though, is that you have to pick a card you own and a card your opponent owns. So, if I had not played... So I gave him a valid target to use Noble Sacrifice on. Now, granted, I'm not sure if he was at 4 life at this point or not. He might have been. So it doesn't matter, because if he destroys one of the Deadly Strikers, then he dies. But I didn't need the Shadowy Mugger at this point. Like, he was dead on the board already. So adding the Shadowy Mugger was probably technically a play mistake, just because, like I said, it gave him more options. So it's not something, and I didn't need it to win. But that's alright. And then also coming up in this last turn, because this turn he doesn't do anything. Next turn, I do believe is the final turn of the game, and where I do make another play mistake where I play a Deception, and I trigger, and I pick a Deadly Striker, and then I use my own Essence of Deception just to kill the Deadly Striker, just to kill him. Like, okay, this is game. But that's actually incorrect and doesn't work, because Crest of Deception makes the target creature or target character lose a life. It's not damage, so Essence of Deception wouldn't work on it. So I still would have won, because what I would have done, or what I should have done, would just be pick a Hidden Sniper and kill one of the Hidden Snipers, and then I would attack with a Shadowy Mugger, because he's covert right now, which would force him to either A, take the 2, or B, deplete his other Hidden Sniper to kill it. He'd probably take the 2, but then that only leaves him with 1 blocker versus 2 Deadly Strikers. So, but although he might have a noble sacrifice, in which case I think he does have one in his hand because he shows it like at the very end of this clip. So he could well, no, he couldn't have survived, because as soon as he destroys one of the deadly strikers, like I said, he was low enough that I think it was just one deadly striker would kill him. So that is the play mistake. You'll see me do it here in the last round. But yeah, so the proper way would have been to... So yeah, so Crest of Deception into Essence of Deception does not work. They're different things. See, here's where I do it. So yeah, but his deck is a good early deck. I was just able to barely hold on, and then I managed to get my Grand Theft All, which is what won me the game. Like the one of Grand Theft All that I have in the deck is what enabled me to win it. So I hope you enjoyed the game. Yeah, here's just some tomfoolery. He's like, yeah, well, I could do this. I can noble sacrifice. I'm like, well, I have a mistaken identity, so I could change targets into, over to my deadly strikers, so they blow up and kill you. So yeah, so we're just going through the motions. But yeah, so the Grand Theft All won me the game, turned it around. This was a fun game. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.